historical news, where news always seems to be interesting. I'm your host, Al-Sharawi. Now for this part of today's news report, we have a documentary about the Industrial Revolution that we thought we should show. Before we watch the documentary, let's just take a minute or two to explain what the Industrial Revolution was. The Industrial Revolution was a time in human history where very important inventions were made in modern day England. The Industrial Revolution continued from 1760 all the way to 1850. This sudden change managed to happen in only one lifetime. The Industrial Revolution had a few types of impacts, which will be discussed in the documentary. Now, since you got an idea about the Industrial Revolution, we can watch the documentary. Enjoy!
The Industrial Revolution led to a change in the life of people in Britain. For example, more people got an education, which meant that more people were able to read and write. The reason to this was that a lot of new schools were built so that there was a place for most children to get an education. The Industrial Revolution also led to women being more important than they were before. Unfortunately, men were paid more than women, which meant that women would sometimes just stay at home while men went to work in the factories. If women did work in factories, they would usually get punished and scolded at by their boss, just like men. There was a myth saying that there was a law in industrial Britain called the rule of thumb, which meant that a husband had the right to hit his wife with a stick as wide as his thumb. During the Industrial Revolution, people started waking up early in the morning so that they could go and work in the factory, usually long-hour shifts, so they could get a small amount of money in return called a wage. The people that worked in factories were considered part of the working class, while the middle class enjoyed their luxuries and comfortable life. The working class usually had to work for 12 to 14 hours a day, for 5.5 days per week, for the whole calendar year. Lots of people well known for their energetic harvesting before the Industrial Revolution weren't as energetic as they were, as it was hard to adjust to this new system of work. This leads to the economic impact of the Industrial Revolution. As a result of the Industrial Revolution, communities and companies moved from agriculture in homes and small workshops to manufacturing goods in factories. Due to the construction of factories, most of the population in Britain then moved towards cities to try and find a life there by working in factories. As a result of a massive increase in people working in factories, goods were produced faster, which meant that companies gained more money. Due to new ways of weaving cloth, Manchester became the most important city in Britain that produced cotton. As a result of this, Manchester was also called Cottonpolis. During the Industrial Revolution, the British had to find a better source of energy. They later discovered coal, and later on in 1800 were producing 90% of the world's coal. The burning of coal for energy had some negative effects, which gets us started with the environmental impact of the Industrial Revolution. When people realized that burning coal could produce energy, they started doing just that. This produced negative environmental effects. For example, the burning of coal meant that carbon dioxide was produced, which meant that the air that they were breathing was even more unhealthy than it was before the founding of coal. In 1873, there were a few killer fires in London that killed around 1,000 people due to air pollution from burning coal. It was really difficult at the time to keep the environment clean due to the presence of chemicals from burning gases. The inability to keep the environment clean led to the River Thames in London becoming really poisonous and dirty. This period in the Industrial Revolution was called the Great Stink. These chemicals also led to the introduction of a number of diseases like cholera. Cholera is caused when dirty water or human wastes come into contact with drinking water and, as a result, making it unhealthy. London experienced the death of 7,000 people due to cholera. The main disease that caused deaths was tuberculosis, which was a disease in which the lungs got damaged by chemicals, which in the end led to lungs being unable to absorb oxygen. Acid rain also became a common thing as burning coal would release chemicals into the air. These chemicals would then mix with the evaporated water to make acid rain. This led to people asking their governments for help, which takes us into the political impacts of the Industrial Revolution. As a result of all the problems in Britain, like bad working conditions, unhealthy living conditions, and low wages, workers started doing protests to make things right. In 1811, a protest that was organized by workers destroyed lots of machinery. This was later named Ludism. The government later on put a reward in the form of money to anyone who could give the government information about Ludism. The government also issued a law in 1812 stating that the destruction of machinery is a capital offense. They later sent troops to protect the factories. During this time, people that were caught in trouble either went to jail or were transported to Australia. They later organized a meeting to discuss the discontent in Britain. A crowd of around 50,000 people came to watch. It was the first time workers had actually been interested in politics. In addition, they made a law stating that young children up until the age of 9 were not allowed to work in factories. They also made a law stating that children from the age of 9 to 13 were limited to a short amount of working time compared to the older people. Most of the stuff we see today, whether it be a phone, a light bulb, or even a bike, came as a result of the Industrial Revolution. As stated before, it took only one lifetime for this massive change in lifestyle to happen. Even the concept of getting a job wasn't thought of until people started working in factories for a wage. The Industrial Revolution also allowed us to realize that if we don't take care of our environment, there will be consequences later on in the future. All the people during the Industrial Revolution suffered during their lives just to make the future a better place for their sons.
And that ends our documentary for today. I hope you enjoyed it, because for that fact, I did. I'll see you after the commercial break.